So hello there everyone. With the release of quite a few new different clips now for Dragons Rising Part 2 of course, something pretty big has actually been revealed to us, and that is, I suppose, the actual on-screen confirmation of the Bone Warriors, which, in case you guys aren't familiar with, well, I'll leave them up on screen now and I'm sure you'll be familiar with them very quickly, but these were the actual main villains for Core, and in case you guys, once again, just for some reason had no clue, Core was the non-canon Ninjago set wave. Again, as I say here, non-canon, it didn't have a story to back it up, and it was essentially used to sum up Ninjago, hence the name. It had its core elements, and so also with Core being non-canon, these villains were too. Keyword there though being were, past tense, because you best believe that these Bone Warriors are fully canon as of now, and seem to be getting a fair bit of screen time up on screen, as, well, they were featured in this particular teaser clip, and this has been very interesting for quite a few reasons, and a lot of people in the community, once again, including myself here, have been, well, speculating and theorising on what they could be, what their origins are, because obviously they are showing up since the merge, and, well, let's just say a lot is possible. And, well, I hate to be kind of stereotypical about things, but we are going to be talking about the possibility of Clouse, and whether or not he is actually going to be the one behind these Bone villains. And seriously, it's not as loose-ended as you may initially think. Seriously, there is some legitimate grounding for all of this in the first place. So, could the Bone Warriors actually, like, seriously be related to Clouse in some way? Now then, this does first of all take a little assumption, and that is the fact that, well, we have to assume that the Bone Warriors come from the underworld. We have to assume that for all of this to make sense. We don't have a confirmation as of yet as to where they exactly come from, so, you know, it's not really irrational to assume this. It would match up with the whole theme of the underworld as well, and it would absolutely explain the whole skeleton army thing, considering the original Skulking army, you know, led by Samukai back in the day, they all came from the underworld, so it's kind of like the same thing there. But, as we remember correctly here, right, let's just take things back quite a few years ago now. There was an old Ninjago book series titled, quote, The Dark Island Trilogy, and this was a very badly marketed book series back in like 2016, 2017, around that kind of time, and I haven't even read it myself, but I do know that Clouse essentially managed to gain control of the underworld in this particular franchise of books, and he ended up as the leader of some form of skeleton army, the Skulking, you know, the original classic skeletons. And in case you guys are, I suppose, getting a little bit worried as to whether or not this is canon, well, I need to come in here and just let you all know that, yeah, to top all of this off, that was confirmed to be canon. That's right, this whole Clouse in the underworld thing was confirmed to be canon, and fun fact, this is also why a lot of people were theorising that Clouse was the Skull Sorcerer almost 3 years ago now. Well, no, actually, over 3 years ago, back when we didn't know the true identity of the Skull Sorcerer and people were speculating that he was Clouse. So yeah, kind of similar thing here, fun fact for you all there. And, yeah, I suppose that serves as more further lining with all of this, and I suppose it does also further line up the fact that maybe this could actually be the case, and also serves the idea of just maybe here, keyword, again, can't say it enough, maybe Clouse is this new Bone Warrior guy that's in charge of this particular army. Of course, though, he would also have a new design here, as currently Clouse is absolutely unrecognisable as this main Bone Warrior. We already know what the main guy looks like, again, up on screen now, and also in the set, the guy with the cape. So maybe this is some form of, like, a mask, or maybe it's some form of dark magic, because we all know that Clouse is very familiar with dark magic, so maybe he has become so rotten, so twisted, so evil in the underworld that he's taken on some form of whole new design. Again, another fairly big assumption to make there, but I mean, to be honest, with that one, it's really absolutely possible, in my opinion, just considering the nature of both the underworld and also Clouse, so it could definitely make a whole lot of sense. Or I suppose there is another big side to all of this, and maybe this is just some form of absolute crazy stretch on my end, and this theory makes absolutely no sense, and I'm going to sound like an absolute idiot once we find out more detail regarding the Bone Warriors. Who knows? But ultimately, I suppose one thing can be said and made very clear here, and that is that this theory is definitely a very interesting one, a very unique one, and regardless, again, even if this is all completely untrue, it was definitely very interesting to find out and just theorize as to whether or not this Bone Warrior guy is Clouse. But with all of this being said, that is just about going to conclude everything that I wanted to touch on in today's video, so hopefully you did all enjoy this one. But now that I'm done talking here, I do turn it over to all of you. Please feel free to leave any of your own thoughts on this down below in the comment section. Let's get a conversation going down there. If you made it to this point in the video, I'm going to assume that you did enjoy yourselves while watching, so please do me a favour and click that like button. It really helps me out to be successful in the YouTube algorithm. If you're new around here or just simply haven't subscribed already for whatever reason, please do consider doing so now. And while you're down there, please do feel free to click that little notification icon so that you can stay up to date on all of my new content as soon as I do release it, every so often. But with all of this being said, guys, that is going to cut it from me here. Have a great rest of your week, have a great day, have a great time, and I will see you all soon for a new video. Goodbye, everybody. Take it easy.